I believe submarines underneath deep blue sea.
Albert Einstein was born into a Jewish family on March 14, 1879, in Württemberg, Germany.
No one will believe me.
Einstein attended elementary school at Leupold Gymnasium, where he did very well in his studies. His brain was like an incandescent light bulb beaming with bright ideas. However, Einstein's eccentric behavior at school started at a young age. He was recalcitrant because he skipped class so he could learn math and physics on his own. The Einstein family paid alms to a lonely mendicant named Max Tummold by letting him come to their house for Thursday evening meals.
I've been trying to do.
Einstein's parents had to move to Italy, but Albert was left at a boarding school. Albert got lonely without his parents and dropped out of high school to move with them.
Sleeping in my bed. Sleeping in my bed.
Einstein's parents were concerned about the problems that he would face as a high school dropout and draft dodger with no employable skills.
What are we going to do about Albert?
I don't know.
Einstein went to a special high school run by Jos Wendler in Switzerland. He became lifelong friends with the Wendler family, and he fell in love with their daughter, Merrick. However, his parents railed at him and refused to let him have a relationship with her.
I see.
Albert reached the lowest point in his life. He couldn't marry Merrick, and his father's company went bankrupt. Money was scant, and it was hard to support a family. At about this time, Einstein's father became very ill. Just before he died, he stopped withholding Albert from marrying Merrick and gave him his blessings to marry her. In 1903, Merrick revealed shocking news to Einstein.
Albert, I have to tell you something.
What?
I'm pregnant.
In May 1904, they had their first son, Hans Albert. In 1905, Einstein submitted 4 important papers that were ignored by the physics community. The photoelectric effect,
I would be sad.
the Brownian motion,
You had told. I would be sad.
special relativity,
Left by a girl that I adore. I would be
the equivalence of matter and energy.
I had before.
With all the rejections that he faced, he could have become a curmudgeon, but he fought through and reached a turning point in his life. Albert Einstein's life turned around when he began to receive the attention of Max Planck. His popularity proliferated throughout the science world. Albert Einstein was above the rabble at this point in his life. In November 1915, Einstein completed the general theory of relativity. In 1921, Albert Einstein received the Nobel Prize for Physics. In 1920, the Nazis were rising to power under the leadership of the demagogic leader Adolf Hitler. Hitler tried to curtail the number of Jews living on Earth, including Einstein himself, since he comes from a Jewish background. Hitler demonstrated an invective gesture by putting Einstein on his hit list because he hated Jews. In 1932, in order to get away from Hitler, Einstein left Germany for good.
I don't want to live here anymore.
Einstein and another scientist had umbrage about a possibility of an atomic bomb being made in Germany. The wanton attack on Pearl Harbor by the Japanese caused the launching of a nuclear bomb in Hiroshima and Nagasaki. In result of the bombs, there was a mass sabotage in each city, which soon would be Einstein and the Emergency Committee of Atomic Scientists' job to clean up the mess. Einstein engaged in a series of historic private debates with Niels Bohr, the originator of the Bohr atomic model. They took a lot of time impugning about Bohr's ideas. On April 17, 1955, Albert Einstein suffered an abdominal aortic aneurysm and experienced internal bleeding while working on a speech. He was taken to the University Medical Center at Princeton for treatment. Einstein refused surgery, believing that he was satiated in his life and was content to accept his fate.
Do you want the surgery?
Albert Einstein died April 18, 1955 at the University Medical Center. In the end, even though Einstein's life was full of vagaries, he still managed to live a successful life.